I got to go to 2 of the nation's top schools and study entrepreneurship and business, but since graduating, I found out about 3 completely new types of entrepreneurship that they do not talk about in business school. These are new ways to make money and start businesses that don't follow the traditional path of writing a business plan, applying for loans, and waiting years to actually start making a profit. And that's crucial because we don't really have the time to waste. The cost of living is increasing and the value of your dollar is decreasing. And we all just spent years with our lives on pause and we want to get back out there. It's like there's this race against time happening and we're losing in all directions. But you can catch up. The new types of entrepreneurship are called being a solopreneur, a micropreneur, and a creatorpreneur. And shout out to Greg for inspiring this video with his recent tweet. Each of these new types of entrepreneurship are focused on keeping the number of employees low, which keeps your costs low and your profit margin high. It's also just easier to manage yourself and a handful of people rather than a giant company. These business types also focus on freedom, the freedom to work from where you want, when you want, because with all of the technology that's available to us, I don't believe that you have to be stuck behind a desk all day if that's not where you want to be. So let's define what types of businesses fit into each of these new categories, as well as exactly how and how much money they can make you. And when we're done, I've got a free ebook that can help you customize the perfect combination of these models for yourself. So first up, solopreneur businesses are just what they sound like, one-person businesses. This channel actually started with me bringing you guys along as I built my first one-person business focused on real estate wholesaling. I had no employees, I worked alone, and I used different pieces of software like PROPSTREAM that gave me property data research, and I spent my time finding properties for investors and collecting wholesale fees that were typically between $5,000 and $15,000. This is how solopreneurs make money, through a direct exchange of typically services with people who want and need them. Solopreneurs can be virtual or in person, but before we get to that, there's 2 things that I have to warn you about with solo businesses. And these are traps that I've fallen into myself and that you should keep an eye out for. The first is don't mistake a side hustle for a business. The difference between the 2 is that a side hustle is something that doesn't have the potential to become your main source of income. There's nothing wrong with that. I have an entire video on real estate side hustles that can help you get started and get you making some money. But if you think that you're building a business and you're working really, really hard at something that just doesn't have business potential, you're gonna get frustrated when you keep failing. It's like the Warren Buffett quote that says, "The boat you're in is more important than how hard you row." The ability for a side hustle to actually become a business depends on a lot of different factors, like how large is the potential customer base, how high is the profit margin, and a lot of other things. I go more in depth into these criteria in my free ebook, so you can check it out and make sure that if you are side hustling, you're not mistaking it for a true business opportunity. The second trap to look out for is to make sure you're not building a prison. This will make more sense after I tell you about a guy named Brett from Design Joy. He's a one-person design agency, and his clients pay him $5,000 a month for unlimited design requests. They make the requests one at a time for websites or social media graphics, whatever they want. And Brett made over $1 million from Design Joy last year with no employees, just himself and the software that he needs. Of course, the inevitable downside of being a solopreneur, though, is scale. I don't know exactly how Brett's business works, but if he wants to take 3 months off to travel, I'd imagine he'd have to make some big changes as a one-person business owner. And that's what I meant when I said, don't build a prison. If Brett has things set up in a way where he can't pause member subscriptions or his profit margin isn't high enough to take time off and still have cash on hand, his business has effectively trapped him. Again, I don't know how his specific business works, but the example rings true. As a solopreneur, it's a good idea to make sure that you have a method for taking time off so that your clients aren't expecting something from you 24/7, 365. You don't want your clients to become just like the boss at the job that you were trying to escape. And on top of that, your profit margin needs to be high enough when you are working so that it covers the gap in income when you're not. Despite those things you need to look out for, being a solopreneur is a great way to get started, but it is relatively hard to sustain by yourself. And that's why my current business focus is actually on being a micropreneur. These businesses have less than around 10 employees, and they make money by providing an even larger scope of services than a solopreneur can provide. You may have heard a lot of buzz recently about agencies, and here's an inside look into exactly why they are a great new type of micropreneur business. My YouTube agency, which is called Lili Media, there are about 5 other people who work in the business with me, helping YouTubers to grow and monetize their content. So just like being a solopreneur, the work is virtual and we pretty much make our own schedules as long as we complete the tasks in a reasonable amount of time. The costs are higher than if I was a solo business, but hiring people to work with me has 2 key advantages. The first one is that I can take time off. While I am the lead YouTube strategist for everyone that I work with, I'm not the only one. If there's a question or research that needs to be done, someone else can handle it. The second key advantage is that the skills needed to be a micropreneur are very different than when you're doing everything by yourself. Having employees does mean that you need to be a better leader, but you can also offer services in your business that you yourself don't have the skills to provide. I'm not a good video editor. Doesn't matter though. I'm also not a good thumbnail designer. Doesn't matter though. Micro businesses are more scalable because you can delegate certain tasks and they can be more profitable because you're not the bottleneck that defines all of the potential services that your business can provide. But there is one more step to supercharge everything that we talked about. If you're willing to pick up your phone and talk to it, you could be a creatorpreneur, which is a term that I first heard from Ali Abdaal when he talked about how his content creation is the free pillar in his business that then creates a bridge to his paid pillar. 99% of your audience will only consume your free products, and 1% or so will cross that bridge. And this becomes so powerful because it opens up many different income streams from a lot of just similar actions on your part. So you're making money in multiple ways from something that you're only doing one time. For example, when my YouTube agency helps someone grow their YouTube channel, the increase in views means that they make more money from the YouTube AdSense program. But it also means that sponsors are more likely to pay and be featured in those videos. If they also use certain products and share them with their audience, then the creator can get an affiliate commission as another income stream. If they have a coaching service or an online course, they get more people interested in that. And as you find more success with the free pillar, there are more and more people crossing the bridge to all of the different income streams in the paid pillar. And to take this all to another level, you can combine these different types of entrepreneurship with each other. I have my creator business, which is here on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, but I also have my solo business where I wholesale or burr properties to keep as rentals. And I have my micro business where I help content creators build their own creator business. It can all work together to define a new path of entrepreneurship for those of us who just aren't satisfied with the other options that we've been given. If you want my free ebook that goes even more in depth into how to find the perfect business model for yourself, I'll link it in the description. And until next time, if you're interested in doing real estate as the start of your solo business, here's a breakdown on different ways to reach $10,000 per month through different types of investing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.